The level of interference by the Obama's government was very overwhelming.
Today I want to speak directly to you, the people of Nigeria. Nigeria is a great nation, and you can be proud of the progress you've made.
This practice has no place in our culture, it has no place in our religion, it has no place anywhere in Nigeria.
This is the story of how one man's political career was shaped and shattered by a clash of ideas, power, and geopolitics. It is the story of Goodluck Jonathan's political fall, his controversial stance on gay rights, and the complex relationship between Nigeria and the Obama administration, culminating in a deep rift that altered the course of his presidency. Goodluck Jonathan's rise to power was both symbolic and dramatic. Born in a small town in Otuke Bayelsa State, Jonathan's humble beginning mirrored the aspiration of a nation seeking to move beyond the shadow of military rule. His presidency was an embodiment of hope for many Nigerians, especially from the marginalized Niger Delta region where Jonathan hailed from.
They are telling all kinds of lies, painting all kinds of color, giving you all kinds of bits that you cannot defend. And if you listen to us for the 37 places that will address these issues, you will not know where to cast your vote.
In 2010, following the death of President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, Jonathan assumed the presidency, leading Nigeria into a new era of political potential. Jonathan's presidency began with optimism in 2011. After completing Yar'Adua's term, Jonathan campaigned for a full mandate and won with a promise of economic growth, infrastructural development, and a commitment to democracy. His campaign resonated with the young, the hopeful, and those who believed that Nigeria could overcome decades of corruption. Under his leadership, Nigeria enjoyed rapid economic growth and played an increasingly prominent role on the international stage. Yet, for many Nigerians, there remained a palpable sense that much more was needed. They saw Jonathan not just as a president, but as a symbol of progress for the Niger Delta, where oil wealth had not translated into prosperity for the people. But in 2014, a decision would test the limits of Jonathan's leadership. The passage of the Same-Sex Marriage Prohibition Act in Nigeria would forever alter his standing in the eyes of both his people and the world.
Those in favor of the motion that the House adopts the reports of the Committee of the Whole, say aye. Those against, nay. The ayes have it.
The law, which criminalized same-sex relationships, the promotion of homosexuality, and even the advocacy for LGBTQ rights, was framed as a moral victory for Nigeria, a defense of traditional family values rooted in religion and culture. For Jonathan, the law was an important part of his political platform, appealing to the conservative majority in the country. Many Nigerians, especially in more rural and religious regions, supported the law as an affirmation of their cultural beliefs. However, this move would lead to one of the most significant diplomatic confrontation of Jonathan's presidency. The United States, led by President Barack Obama, condemned the law in no uncertain terms. Obama, an outspoken advocate for gay rights, described the Nigerian law as a severe violation of human rights.
If you look at the history of countries around the world, when you start treating people differently, not because of any harm they're doing anybody, but because they're different, that's the path whereby freedoms begin to erode.
The Obama administration, along with other Western governments, made it clear that Nigeria's stance on gay rights would affect its relationship with the West. Diplomatic ties began to strain. Obama's administration took immediate steps to address the issue, signaling that human rights were not negotiable even for strategic allies like Nigeria. Affected by this pressure, several Western countries reevaluated their aid to Nigeria, while international human rights organizations launched public campaigns calling for the repeal of the law. The signing of the Same-Sex Marriage Prohibition Act puts Jonathan in a delicate position. On one hand, he had the support of the conservative religious groups in Nigeria, particularly among Muslims and Christian leaders who viewed homosexuality as a threat to their values. On the other hand, there was a growing international condemnation from both human rights organizations and Western powers led by Obama administration. At the heart of this tension was the relationship between Jonathan's government and the Obama administration. Obama had used his position to promote LGBTQ rights globally, and his firm stance on human rights was in direct opposition to Jonathan's domestic policies. Despite being a strategic ally to the West, Jonathan found himself at odds with the Obama's administration on this issue. Obama's foreign policy, grounded in liberal values, left little room for compromise. In 2014, President Obama made it clear that the U.S. would not tolerate policies that violated the rights of LGBTQ individuals, even if it meant alienating powerful allies like Nigeria. The pressures from the Obama administration did not stop at heroic. Aid to Nigeria was curtailed, diplomatic visits were reduced, and Obama publicly criticized Jonathan's administration. In a notable moment, Obama spoke at the United Nations, urging all nations to respect the dignity and rights of LGBTQ individuals. The message was clear: those who fail to uphold human rights would face consequences, he said. Domestically, the law became a rallying cry for both sides of the political spectrum. While conservative groups praised Jonathan for standing up to Western pressures, the opposition saw the move as unnecessary distraction. The international backlash, coupled with domestic dissatisfaction, added to the growing unease among Nigerians as the country grappled with high unemployment, a fragile security situation, and an economy increasingly burdened by falling oil prices. Many began to question Jonathan's ability to govern effectively. Corruption scandals involving his inner circles added fuel to the fire, and Jonathan's popularity began to wane. His government, once seen as a symbol of hope, was increasingly viewed as out of touch with the real concerns of the people. By 2015, the political landscape had shifted. The economic situation had worsened, and the country's fight against Boko Haram had grown increasingly violent. With these challenges, the 2015 presidential election became a referendum on Jonathan's leadership. His opponent, Muhammadu Buhari, capitalized on growing frustration and dissatisfaction, positioning himself as more experienced and disciplined leader who could restore Nigerian stability. Buhari's campaign focused heavily on Jonathan's failure, especially the corruption scandals and his inability to tackle the country's security issues. The election results were devastating for Jonathan. On March 31, 2015, after one of the most closely contested races in Nigeria's history, Jonathan accepted defeat, becoming the first sitting Nigerian president to lose an election and peacefully hand over power. His concession was seen as a moment of political maturity, but the decision had come too late for his presidency. The cumulative weight of the gay rights controversy, his failure to address corruption, the economic crisis, and the Boko Haram insurgency had proven too much. Jonathan's political fall was swift. He had once been hailed as the man of change, but his presidency ended amid scandal, diplomatic isolation, and a fractured national identity. His decision on gay rights, although rooted in the value of his people, had opened a rift with the West that he was unable to mend. And in a country yearning for change, his failure to deliver on his promises was his ultimate downfall. Goodluck Jonathan's presidency serves as a cautionary tale of the complexity of leadership in an increasingly interconnected world. His fall was not solely the result of the gay rights issue, it was a accumulation of a series of missteps. From governance failures to diplomatic blunders, the role of the Obama administration, with its strong stance on human rights, played a critical role in his downfall.
The level of interference by the Obama's government was very overwhelming. It's not as if I couldn't have won the election even with that. But if, by my own thinking, and also the way some other people look at it, they go outside the normal diplomatic relationship, then it should be mentioned.
But it was ultimately Jonathan's inability to reconcile domestic priorities with international expectations that sealed his fate. Goodluck Jonathan's story is far from over. While his political career may have ended in 2015, his decision continues to reverberate across Nigeria's political landscape. The country is still grappling with the balance between traditional values and the demand of a modern globalized world. But one thing is clear: Jonathan's fall was a moment of reckoning for Nigeria, for Africa, and for the world.
Hello. Today I want to speak directly to you, the people of Nigeria. Nigeria is a great nation, and you can be proud of the progress you've made. Together you've won your independence, emerged from military rule, and strengthened democratic institutions. You've strived to overcome divisions and turn Nigeria's diversity into a source of strength. You've worked hard to improve the lives of your families and to build the largest economy in Africa. Now you have a historic opportunity to help write the next chapter of Nigeria's progress.
Thank you so much for watching this video on Frank Speaks. If you found this video compelling, do well to hit the like button and also the notification bell, and as well subscribe to the channel. But before you leave, you can as well drop a comment on the video by giving us your own take on the Jonathan's administration and his fall in politics. Do you see the possibility of Jonathan returning to politics ever again in the future? Once again, thank you so much.